Welcome back to Snap Material. So in this episode, Evan and I are going to be talking our experience during the Spider-Verse season. We're also going to talk a little bit about the new game mode Conquest, and we will get into our cards that we unlocked during the season. So here we go. So what'd you run into last season? Or did you have any popular decks you like to play? Did you have any decks that you didn't want to go up against or that you encountered a lot? What was things like?
Well, like I said, I butted heads and got really irritated with High Evolutionary a few times because there were some games where I was just like, if I don't get Luke Cage, I got no shot here. Really frustrating because Luke Cage is in pretty much all my decks too. So, right. But yeah, I would go through stretches where I just wouldn't get him. I went on a real roll. I think I told you last season I had a couple decks that worked really well, and then they stalled out. Oh, just basically Silver Surfer and Wong.
Oh, the one that I stole from you.
Yeah. That one got me. I mean, I don't remember the exact numbers, but that one took me from the 60s to the 90s.
Just in case listeners out there that want to know and copy off Evan like I did, please tell them the deck.
Okay, so Spider-Ham, of course. I forget. It was probably Sunspot in there before. Yeah. But once Spider-Ham got in there, the joy of the pig was too much to overcome. So Kitty Pryde, and then one of those cards like Silver Surfer that I never thought I'd use very much, Bast.
Mm-hmm.
Because most variations of this deck I had, 4 was my highest power. Often I'd get Luke Cage, and if Bast lowers one of your cards to 3, Luke Cage will put them back to where they started.
It's brilliant.
So, and then, of course, Luke Cage and Hazmat. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have Hazmat in every deck with Luke Cage, but usually it's because I've removed her for somebody else, because those two, I mean, it's Power Man and Hazmat, the classic comic team. Yeah, and I mean, he's not really useful with Iron Fist. I experimented with a few of the 3-cost cards, but I put a bunch of 3-cost cards in because of Silver Surfer. But I ended up going with Mystique, Gambit, Wolfsbane, Brood, and Silver Surfer.
Yes.
And then Wong to fire up all of those. Well, I mean, Wong doesn't really do much good with Brood. And actually, I'm just going to call it Brew because I like the Brood as villains. I don't like the Brood on my side, but I like Brew.
I like it.
You get Wong. You get lucky enough to get Mystique out there, and you can blow up 4 cards or 8 if you play them on Camouflage. You can get Wolfsbane from a 1 power to some ridiculous number. You can have Silver Surfer boosting all those 3-cost cards. I forget who I started with, but for a long time I had Rescue in there, so occasionally I would play Rescue on Wong, so she would get boosted up to 14 instead of just 9.
Yeah.
But eventually, I went back to another guy that's in just about all my decks, Thor. Another 3-cost. Depending on how things fall, you can get Mjolnir in there. Always like to have Thor when Bar Sinister is in play.
Mm-hmm.
I finally hit a wall with this deck. I got into the 90s. I went back down to about 88. And then I went back to one of my old decks. And then tried another deck that maybe I won't spell it out for you because I might play that one against you. But I'll tell you that I named it Boomerang Snap.
Boomer Snap. It's
centered around Kitty Pryde and the Beast.
Yep, I could tell already.
And the Collector. And then so I got going with those, and I went back to this deck, and it was Thor in Bar Sinister with Mjolnir. That's the one that put me over the top to Infinite.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to say you made some moves with Bar Sinister out there. Then you had.
Yeah, I mean, I hit 2 in a row where I got eight cubes. I mean, I'd love to say it was all skill. Things broke my way for sure, but did you notice like a lot of the same decks as you got closer to Infinite that you were going up against? Not really, but I'm not that observant. You still see a lot of Infinity Stones and High Evolutionary. That was most of what I saw. There were a lot of move decks out there. The one that I beat to get to Infinite, I mean, it was mostly he got all 6 Infinity Stones out there, and he had Cosmo, and then I thought I had it, and then he played Kazar on Bar Sinister and pumped those Infinity Stones up a lot. I forget which one it was that I made it work, but I just barely squeaked that one out.
Nice. I sent you a message and I was like, this thing's not working for me. I mean, I'm still where where I've been at. But then, like, shortly after that, I started seeing some success with the deck that you built with Silver Surfer and Wong. I was winning about, I don't know, I would say, oh, man, 3 out of every 5 matches is pretty much. I mean, it was really becoming pretty good. And I was going up a little bit. Just didn't, like I said, I didn't play a whole lot this go around. But when I did, I was using that deck and I'd switch back to another one and I'd be like, man, I'm not doing as well as I was with this one that Evan did. For a lot of what I did this season was using that same deck just to see what I could do. And man, that Silver Surfer Brew combo with Wong, sitting there doubling things up, dude, it was very, very helpful. So,
I don't think I would have hit it without mixing all those up. But yeah, for a while there, it was just too good. And I think one of the things that works with it is it gives you a lot of flexibility because there's not a lot of cards you have to play at a certain time. I mean, you want to get Bast out there fairly early to boost some of those low point ones.
Right.
And if you don't have Gambit and don't get Mjolnir, then it's hard to take on some of the bigger cost cards. But it is easy to build up those low point ones to something formidable.
Yeah. Myself, I didn't run into as much high evolutionary as I did the previous season, which I'm very thankful for. It sounds like it was the opposite of what was going on with you. But
maybe the algorithm listened to the last episodes.
I wouldn't doubt it one bit. I did see a lot of destruction decks.
Mm-hmm.
Like it seemed like I was going up against something with either Nimrod in it or Null or one of the first few games that I was using with your deck. I was drove just almost to the brink of throwing my phone when, I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm about to knock out all of these cards. And he's only got one Venom sitting out there and a Wolverine. And what do? I target Wolverine like 5 times or something like that. So it's just like, oh my gosh, what was I doing? Made me so mad. Wasn't able to get very far sometimes when I was facing those destruction decks. But
we were talking about the Great Web, and I had a game where I was getting slaughtered. How it ended up was I played Heimdall on the Icebox. So I guess I sent Spider-Man 2099 over to the negative zone, and Iron Fist and Stegron over to the Great Web, and they had an often destroyed Wolverine at the Icebox, so it was 10-8, and the Great Web yoinked Wolverine over, so they had all their cards on the Great Web, so I won with 8 points on the Icebox and 3 points on the negative zone.
That's great. That is great.
That was not a skilled victory, but I took the 4 cubes.
The next thing I'll just kind of mention here, I'm not going to have a whole lot to say about it, but they unleashed a new game mode this season called Conquest. And I'm going to read straight from marvelsnapzone.com an explanation of what Conquest is. Conquest is new competitive game. Who wrote this? Is a new competitive game mode for Marvel Snap, utilizing its battle mode feature, where players enter a series of runs, each with increasing difficulty. So similar to battle mode, where you each get, is it a total of 10 health? Your objective is to win against other players and advance through the tiers, which are Proving Grounds, Silver, Gold, and Infinity. With each victory, you'll earn medals and secure your spot in the next Conquest. Each match in Conquest is determined over multiple individual games of Marvel Snap, just like the unranked battle mode. And their bullet points here are each player starts with 10 health, and each player loses health equal to the values of the cube. So again, just like friendly battle. Players lock in a deck and use the same deck throughout the games within the same battle, just like friendly battle. And there are no ties, winners or losers only. So I did this once. I say I didn't have very much experience with it. That's because I did it once. It was a very long and grueling battle where we both got down to one, like we were trading back and forth, and we both got down to 1 health point left, and I ended up winning. So I beat the Proving Grounds, but I didn't go any further than that.
I think I played at least 1 at every level. I don't think I ever won more than 2 in a row. At first, I didn't have a problem with them adding it, but I wasn't too excited about it. One, because Carnage-ized Green Goblin isn't much of an incentive for me. Like, hey, one of those twisted villains, let's make him worse. My main objection to it was that, the whole appeal of Snap to me is you can play a game really quick.
Yeah.
And battle mode, that takes a little longer, but I'm playing with you, I'm playing with my brother, I'm playing with other friends, so that's cool. This felt like more of a time commitment than was what I wanted out of Snap. Now I've wasted plenty of time playing Snap, so better planning would allow me to try a Conquest if I wanted to. What I found out by accident yesterday is you don't have to play all of them at once.
Oh.
I won a match in Conquest, and then I hit something, and I played, and I won, and I'm like, that's it? Did the guy just quit? No, I'd actually just gone back to the regular ranked mode, and then I went back in and continued the Conquest. So you can't start a new Conquest, but you can play one round with somebody and then stop and go back to it.
Okay, when you say one round, are you talking about a full, like...
One battle.
One battle.
Yeah,
okay,
one
gotcha.
battle, first one to lose 10 health.
Gotcha, okay.
So
all right.
You can do that, but then you don't have to do the next level right then.
Gotcha, okay.
So that made it more appealing to me. And then once I, stumbled backwards into hitting infinite, I was like, well, okay, that gives me something else to play for. I'll probably never reach it again. But that was good to have to try that out. I did confirm that with a friend of mine who's played a lot more Conquest than me. I tried to do it on my lunch break today, but I couldn't beat the first person on Infinity. So
ouch.
Yeah, it was a back and forth one, but it's neat. I mean, it's good to vary the game modes. I wasn't too excited about it at first because I thought it would, kind of defeat the purpose of Snap, which was, hey, you can get it a quick game every once in a while. And it's cool that unlike the friendly battles, you can still make progress toward your missions on it.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't affect your rank, but if you play a 6-cost card and that's one of your missions, you get credit for those.
The whole time commitment thing, that's a real thing. I mean, when you think about it, if you win the game, great. Or if you win the battle, great. But if you lose, that's the other thing about Snap. Yes. We can play these things quickly. And if we win quickly versus lose quickly, it seems to sting less if I lost a game that only took 3 minutes to play.
Yeah.
But if I'm spending 15 minutes trying to battle a guy down, you wouldn't believe how angry I was getting and how angry I would have been if I would have lost that first round where me and this guy battled back and forth and went down to 1 point.
Yeah.
It took a long time to get there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to leave.
Yeah, but if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to put that much time into it, I'd rather be playing against you or, have it be somebody I know. I was just going to say, but it seems like, at least right now, Conquest is like something else you can do. Doesn't seem like a must. Unless the reward is something you really, really want.
Yeah.
I mainly did it just to see how Conquest worked. And, I figured, well, I've come this far, I may as well get the prize. It seems like a variation, not something you have to do.
Yeah. There is some stuff that's tempting there. When I was looking at it, I was like, oh, okay, well, some of this stuff makes it seem like it would be worth putting some effort into. But
there's a mystery variant in there. I love variants.
Yeah, we can't complain about that.
Unless it's one of those weird sports ones. I like comics. I like sports. I don't know. Very few of those sports variants really do it for me.
If you don't have an NFL Super Pro card in this game, then what are we doing, folks? What are we doing?
Or at least Kickers Inc.
At least, okay. All right. We could do that too.
If this game lasts, a couple more years, there's going to have to be a new universe season.
Please do. One
of these days we'll be like, and the next featured card is Razorback.
Yeah, you're going to run out of some A+ players here pretty soon.
All right. How many tokens are you saving up for Chipmunk Hunk?
Okay, let's talk about our unlocks for the season. I will go first. Shortly after we recorded last time, I actually unlocked Null. So I was able to finally get Null and use him.
Welcome to the dark side, Jesse.
Yeah, buddy. I got a Dan Hip Lady Sif.
Nice.
And a Kid Variant Maximus. I think we both were talking about this. We both got Shanna the She-Devil.
Yeah, I got her this season.
Okay.
She was like the card that dropped into Series 3 that was the only one I didn't have. I made a deck with her and Kazar and a lot of 1-power cards. I think I used Dazzler with the goal of, filling up a bunch of stuff.
Mojo.
Ant-Man, Mojo, Wolfsbane, Spider-Ham, of course. And I don't know. I mean, it worked okay. It had a lot of cards that felt like it should work, but I didn't get very far with it. But I mainly mention it because as an ode to a Squirrel Girl storyline, and since I had Kazar and Shauna, I called my deck Savage Brands. That's the clothing line at the gift shop in the Savage Land.
That is beautiful. Then I got a Luchador variant Warpath. My crusade to get Luchador variants continues.
Nice. There's only like 3 of them, aren't there?
There's a Luchador Taskmaster, Luchador Warpath. There's a Titania one. There's a Titania wrestling variant.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen.
My only issue with the Luchador variants is that, with the exception of maybe Taskmaster, they all feel like they should be Luchador variants. Like, I want somebody who has no business with a Luchador variant, like Invisible Woman or Professor. Yes, I want a Professor X Luchador variant.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I want to see.
Drax has a Luchador variant.
Yeah. I mean, Drax had a comic written by CM Punk. You know, he's a big dude. You expect him to be wrestling affiliated. Give me some left field stuff. A Mysterio Luchador variant.
Right.
With the fishbowl head. How would that work? Like, would the mask be stretched over the fishbowl?
So the ones that I've seen, Drax, Taskmaster, Titania, Warpath. Apparently, now, again, I never really know what to trust from Snap Zone because they have a Blob Luchador variant, which Blob doesn't exist in this game.
I'm surprised he doesn't. Blob feels like he would be, like, I know Colossus can't be moved, but yeah, it feels like Blob would be one that you can't move him.
Well, that's it. Location. That's exactly what it says. Ongoing. Nothing can move this to another location. There is apparently a M'Baku Luchador, and I want to see if this is released. It is. It's released.
Oh, now that'd be nice.
He is on the second rope. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful.
I feel bad. I haven't used M'Baku for a while. He keeps getting edged out of the 1-cost slots because Spider Ham and Sunspot
right.
and Shadow. I mean, Kitty Pryde. It's hard to bump any of them out.
Yeah. They have 3 others here that aren't released: a Sabretooth, Sentry, and Strong Guy. And then there's
that'd be good.
The Sentry one looks awesome. Like, he has, like, the big S is on the championship belt around his waist. Which
nice.
Is great. And then we have White Tiger. I'm looking to see if this is released. No, it's unreleased. I want
a Dr. Doom Luchador too.
Oh, please.
Let's get a Luchador Watcher.
Luchador Watcher, yes. Oh,
Luchador. Maybe not. Too much.
We talked about it already. I bought Spider-Ham for 3,000 tokens. Pretty sure I unlocked Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah, I remember you sending me that message.
Yep. Venomized variant for Nova. Mm-hmm. A Pixel variant Rogue.
Nice.
And then bought Spider-Man 2099. And then just yesterday, I unlocked a Chibi Angel. And this is the
Archangel.
Yeah, Archangel. This is the Archangel. Yeah. I love that one. I immediately replaced it in all my decks, which I don't think I had any decks with him in it. But regardless, that's the one that's going to be going to into any decks. I love that Archangel look. So there you go. That's really all my unlocks for this past season. How about you?
Well, I got speaking of variant themes, I got the Bucky sidecar variant.
I remember you talking about this
one.
Which
just seems like a Bucky variant and not a very significant. Like, there's some that are just like, hey, here's another version of the character, and it's just labeled variant. And so I wondered, why did you label it sidecar variant? I mean, yeah, he's in a sidecar. And this got me thinking, if you're going to do that, make the sidecar variant interesting. Let's have more sidecar variant characters. Like, think I mentioned this to you. Let's have Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Variant.
But nobody's driving the motorcycle, and he's just sitting there like, because he's the guy that drives the motorcycle. So why is he in the sidecar?
Right.
Or a Giganto sidecar variant where it's just Giganto standing over a normal-sized motorcycle with a sidecar on the right. He can't get in because Giganto can only be played on the left.
That's so great.
So that's what I want to see. The Bucky sidecar variant, I was like, but make it part of a series. Have me chase it down so I can make an entire sidecar variant deck. Or how about this? A Mysterio sidecar variant where there's 2 sidecars and Mysterio's in both sidecars and on the motorcycle. But which one's the real one?
Yeah.
Spent far too much time thinking about this. Anyway, speaking of Mysterio, I got a Mysterio Pixel variant.
Okay. All right.
Always like the Pixel variants. my first purchase in Conquest, I got an Apocalypse Dan Hip variant.
Ooh, yeah. I think I ended up with that one a while back. It's a pretty cool looking card.
I want to be able to field an entire Dan Hip deck, but it's like I had enough cards to do an all pixel variant deck, but it took me a while to get enough cards that would actually work well together to make it playable. It's like a friend of mine, I'm going to steal his joke, he used to talk about right after Unbreakable came out, he wanted to see a sequel, Al Jackson leaning fully into the Mr. Glass identity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, and he's got these henchmen, like Batman style, and he's like, look at this, it's a helicopter made of glass. And they're like, but does it fly? And he goes, who cares? Well, then what's the point? It's a helicopter made of glass. So that's it. It's like, look, I made a Dan Hip deck. It's completely unusable, but I did it.
Hey, you did it. You've accomplished something.
I have to tell him I stole his joke and maybe send him $5. I don't know. So then I got Shauna, the She-Devil, like we talked about. I got the Black Panther Max Grecki variant. Well,
okay.
Those look cool, but I don't end up using a lot of the Grecki variants. Well, I did finally use the Carnage one, but then I got Pixel Carnage, and that's the only Carnage I use now. I got a Collector Pixel variant, which I really want like the classic comic Collector, but the Pixel one is less creepy than the full-on Benicio del Toro one that he comes standard with. So I've been using that one in my Boomerang Snap deck.
Boomerang Snap.
And then I got Spider-Ham, bought Spider-Ham, got the Nokia Sports variant, which is another one of those. It's like, you know what I need my comic book characters to do? Play sports I don't understand.
What is she? Which one is she doing?
She's
there?
Like throwing a discus, I think. I'm sorry. It's not like I'm the only. Maybe there's people who like comics and track and field, and they're like, "This is awesome." Yeah, I've got Nokia throwing a discus. I've got Okoye throwing the javelin. I got multiple man running the relay race. That one is kind of clever.
Nick Fury calling a foul.
Yeah, so it doesn't work for me. But maybe there's no demand for my sidecar variant series, so it's just different strokes for different folks. I got Stegron in the collector's cache, and then I got that the Peter Porker variant of Spider-Ham.
That's so great.
For the season pass mystery variant, I got the freebie. I got Baby Magneto, where he's made a helmet out of silverware as he eats his cereal.
That's nice.
I got Spider-Man 2099. I got a baby variant of Thor, where he's chasing Loki, who's been turned into a goat. And then I got the Carnageized Green Goblin.
Carnageized
doesn't just say Red Goblin. Then again, I think they've made another character called Red Goblin that's like Norman's grandson, so maybe they're saving him for his own card.
Wow. Oh, so did you get the Carnageized Goblin through the Conquest?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got just enough to get that. Although the Norman Osborn variant that I actually want is a Gold Goblin. I don't know if you've read any of those, but they actually in story plausibly made Norman a good guy.
Oh, okay.
Like for real this time, and they did a limited series called Gold Goblin that was actually pretty cool.
Wow.
So that's those are my unlocks.
Okay. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.